Hello, talking fight fans around the world. Welcome to another episode of Olympic Boxing, our ongoing series exploring the ins and outs on the road to Tokyo. And what do you got for us today, Christian?
Morning, Graham. We've got a couple of things
Morning.
to update today. Just a couple of the stories that we've been going over the last couple of days have some updates to them worth exploring here. So we've heard recently as more reactions start to come in from around the world. We spoke yesterday a little bit about the Philippines, where there is currently confidence in this new system, mainly because the fighters that they already have are at this point a rubber stamp away from going to the games based on rankings alone. And this is all based on the world qualifiers being canceled. We've now heard from the Nigerians, however, where things are going a little differently. Head coach of the Nigerian Boxing Federation, Anthony Konigawachi, says that some of his boxers are actually thinking about quitting their amateur status now because of the sudden, end of their Olympic dreams. They're talking about going pro. With the decision to cancel the world qualifiers in Paris and to allocate those 53 spots based on rankings alone, no Nigerian boxer will now compete at the Tokyo Olympic Games. This is owing mainly to Nigeria's failure to attend last year's qualifiers in Dakar, Senegal. So this is going to be the first time that Nigeria will not participate in the boxing event at the Games since first making an appearance in 1960. Konigawachi said, what can we do? Disappointment is one of those things in life. A lot of my boxers have been calling. Some are crying, they're so worried. And some of them, out of frustration, will end up turning pro. He went on to say, I can't hold them. I've already advised them, but the final decision is with them to do with whatever they want. The next competition is going to be the Commonwealth Games, but that decision rests with them. So the next Commonwealth Games is currently, we'll see, due to be held in Birmingham, England in 2022. So we've missed out here on a potential crop of fighters from Nigeria. I'm not sure what led to the decision not to send a team to the African qualifier, but it turns out to have been a misstep to pin all their hopes on the world qualifier. I'll, of course, continue to keep you guys updated as we hear more from the various national Olympic committees around the world and what their thoughts on this are. But the other big story that needs updating today in regards to the games themselves and the recent resignation of the Tokyo Olympic head. We have a replacement now. So Japan's Seiko Hashimoto has been appointed the next Tokyo 2020 president. This is after her predecessor quit over sexist comments that he had made. We covered this a few days ago on this channel as well. The former Olympics minister is a 7-time Olympian herself, having competed as a cyclist in Summer Olympics and as a speed skater in the Winter Games. The former chief, Yoshiro Morai, resigned following a backlash after he was quoted as saying that women talk too much. The Japanese Olympic Committee Board currently has 24 members, only 5 of which are women. Mr. Mori had earlier commented that should that number of female board members be increased, they would have to, quote, make sure that their speaking time is restricted somewhat as they have difficulty finishing, which can be annoying, end quote. He did later apologize for his inappropriate statement and added that the priority was to make sure that the Olympics were being held in July. So Ms. Hashimoto said on Thursday that she had resigned from her role as the Olympic minister in order to take on this new position as chief of the Tokyo Olympic Games. Speaking to media a little earlier today, Ms. Hashimoto said that she wanted the legacy of the Tokyo Games to be a society that accepted people regardless of their gender, regardless of disability, race, or sexual orientation. She said, and I quote here, I'm sure the games are going to attract more attention related to gender equality. And in this regard, I am determined to regain trust by my fullest endeavors. As someone with an athletic background, I will carry out safe games for both the athletes and the citizens of Japan. IOC President Thomas Bach said in a statement that Ms. Hashimoto was the perfect choice and her political experience would help to deliver a safe and successful games. Ms. Hashimoto is herself no stranger to the games. As we mentioned here, she has served as Japan's Olympic minister, while doubling as Minister for Women's Empowerment since 2019. pulling double duty there. As we've also just mentioned here, she herself took part in 7 Olympics, competing in speed skating at 4 Winter Games, track cycling at 3 Summer Games, and in 1992 she took home a bronze medal in the women's 1500-meter speed skating event in Albertville, France. So, at least for the time being, it sounds, well, at least on the surface, that we've got a steady hand back on the wheel, and someone presumably who is well steeped not only in the interworkings of the games themselves, and there are many, many, many moving parts, but would also have been involved from a very early stage in the planning of COVID-19 precautions and the development of socially distanced games. So I've got my fingers crossed, Graham, that this means that, everything's steaming ahead forward. And since we've got someone who is so deeply ingrained in everything that's been going on in the planning up to this point already as a government minister, that hopefully we're going to see a smooth transition and, renewed commitment to keep things moving forward for Tokyo.
Certainly sounds like that's not only the plan, but the implementation of the plan, despite that other fella's weird comments. So this is good news. Supports what I believe, and that is that the Tokyo Olympics will take place and go forward as planned. Can't understand
like everyone
Nigerian
else, yeah. I mean, there's got to be a story behind it. We'll have to look into that and find out. But I read that a little earlier today, and I even went back and said, no, that can't be right. And I started I pulled out the tablet and pulled up the rankings, from the African qualifier, in every fight that happened, and I'm looking for that Nigerian flag, and nothing.
Well, as they say, more for everybody else then. So,
first time since 1960, though, no Nigerians.
Weird. All right, fair enough. So we're going to continue to explore topics and issues regarding the Olympics and continue searching online for new stories. Appreciate what you have to deliver today.
As these things crop up, I'm always taking notes, and I'll bring you guys relevant information as it comes, so as quickly as I can find it.
Yeah, man. And I do thank you, as do our viewers. So please like, share, subscribe, and if you're indeed subscribing, make sure you ring that bell for notifications from us. And Christian, I'll see you tomorrow.
We'll talk tomorrow.
Twice.
Oh yeah, it's Friday.
That's right.